It is all change here in the Lego City. As you can see, I have pretty much cleared the little back area that's going to become the new theme park. If you haven't watched some of the recent shopping videos, you might have missed the fact that in addition to having the haunted house, I've already got the loop coaster, which I've had for a year or so and can now finally build. But I've also bought the Ferris wheel and the fairground mixer from the fairground collection. Still need to pick up the carousel and the other fairground collection roller coaster, which I fully intend to do in the near future, and have a full-on theme park on that back wall where it should have been all along. And in order to accommodate that, I've completely reshaped the downtown of the city. We've pulled out a load of the train track. Ignore this end. This end is very much still placeholder. As you can see, we've got bits of random track that aren't actually connected to stuff. We've got an Ninjago set that's just completely abandoned, a beach that doesn't go anywhere, a train that can't go anywhere. And if you follow the train around, you'll see the track just ends. But when you get up here, this end, I think as a layout, is how I want it to be. And now I just need to detail it. So if we start from the other side where I've started the detailing, I've just basically run out of time today, which is why I've not managed to get it all done, but I am actually finally doing the detailing I've been promising to do all along. Ignore that pile of debris, but as you can see, the plan is to have the modulars come right up to the edge on this side rather than having a road there, because what that allows us to do is have a block with a road and the rail, another block with a road, and then another block with the track. So rather than just having 2 blocks, we have 3. So although we're only covering the same amount of table as we were before, by removing the track, we've been able to take everything that was previously on the back and also shuffle around some of the stuff that was along here. We had a row of modulars here as well, which have all been amalgamated into the main part of the downtown area. So you can see the train track now runs up this street, embedded into the road, disappears in a loop underneath the bit at the back, and then will be embedded into the road along here as well. I've got the Trix Bricks tram kit thing that allows me to basically do this effect, but on a corner. So we're going to get that done. We'll then have this road running down here. We'll perhaps have a couple more modular buildings here because there's still a couple more to buy. We still need Brick Bank. We still need Grand Emporium. There's obviously one coming out in January as well. So there's going to be plenty more stuff to add in. So we very much are leaving some gaps for that. But yeah, we've got this very cool block here with some of my favorite modulars along the front so that I can see them easily. And Tudor Corner in Pride of Place, opposite Cafe Corner. And then we've got this Main Street area, which once I get the train set back up again, is going to be really cool to look at from the POV view on a train, because you're going to be able to ride straight down that main street and look at it from angles you've never been able to see it from before. But because we've got way more corners than we have middle modulars, we've put a little crossroad in there as well, which just stops it looking completely blocky as well. So it's actually quite cool the way we've been able to do that, and you can kind of see straight down that main street bit to where we've got the up house, which obviously needs some detailing. And when I talk about detailing, I mean getting the curbs lined up properly, unlike how they are there. So just lots of little fiddly bits, getting the roads properly connected together so that they're like they are at that end rather than like how they are at this end. But we've got more of the modulars along there. We've got corner bits in, and then I really like the view of all of the superhero stuff together. So we've got Arkham Asylum on the end there, and because of how it sits on that corner where the train track is, that will eventually be embedded into road as well. So you're always going to be able to see the best angle of Arkham Asylum from here. That then butts onto the Daily Bugle, the Avengers Tower, which both look very, very cool, the Up House next to that, and then the Sit Complex, which over the course of the first half of next year, once we're done with the theme park, one of the next jobs is to start raising up the Sit Complex. That's going to end up being twice as high as it is now and pretty much equal in height to Avengers Tower and Daily Bugle. So we're going to have this really cool, when you're over here, walking into the room, looking over that direction, you're going to have this really cool, almost right angle skyline where you have that row of skyscrapers across the back there. And then along the board at the back, you'll have the roller coasters and the rides and the really big sets back there, which will all be motorised and able to move as well. So it's going to be a really cool wow angle to view from when you first walk into the room. But if we come around here, I don't have a plan yet for how this impacts this hill we started making, because obviously we now are going to pull out all this train track and not going to need it to go under the hill anymore. I've moved Brickcross Station to here because there is eventually going to be a row of buildings along here as well to basically turn this into a town square area where we've currently got the Winter Village. So it allows Brickcross Station to back onto train track. So you can see we've got the loop that comes around here and goes under there, but we've got the splitter there, so we can then run this as far down here as we want to. If we want to keep running it all the way down to fit a couple more trains on, or because that's the best way that it fits, we can, or we can just stop it there and just have that where the trains come in and then they go out and do the loop and then reverse back in when they need to reverse back in. But we are then able to have a few more buildings on the back here as well, so that we're back to the original plan for when we rearrange the tables of being able to view the city from all angles. Yeah, you're looking at the back of the Daily Bugle, which is not ideal, but once we've properly set up a base plate and a little parking area for Krusty Burger, that's all going to look a lot cooler there anyway. And again, remember, all of this is going to be embedded into road, so we are going to be able to have a road that comes round here, so you can drive up there and then drive into the Krusty Burger drive-through, which we're eventually going to get set up, and then a couple more of those down there, and then of course along the top here is where the theme park will be. And there's not really an angle now where it doesn't look cool. Obviously we've not got vehicles and minifigures and stuff in, so it will look even cooler when they're in. And then we just need to work out what we're going to do at this end, and obviously tidy up, because I'm midway through moving everything. So there's lots of piles of base plates and roads and train tracks all over the place. So next time I'm here, my first job is going to be pull out all the train track that we no longer need. We're going to keep the Winter Village loop in for December. But obviously once we get into the new year, that's going to come out as well. But there's train track over there, there's a lot of train track that needs to come out, and then we can shuffle things around and work out how things are going to fit in. And obviously there are going to be some new bits to add in as well. I do hope that by let's say by February, I fully expect to have 3 more modulars. The new modular in January, plus Grand Emporium and Brickbank, which I'm hoping to get early next year. So we are going to need to have probably another row of modulars along this side of this street to close off a town square. So some of these will be rearranged. Like Town Hall, I like the idea of being on the town square. So stuff is still potentially going to be moving, but we've got 3 new modulars coming. But we've also, because of Insiders Day and the big order I've made for Insiders Day, we've obviously got the one Ninjago set in here at the moment, City Gardens. I've now at home already built City Workshops. So that's another base plate. That gets us up to 2.5 base plates of Ninjago. But then we've also got City Markets, which I got on Insiders Day, which brings us up to 4 base plates total of Ninjago stuff. So we need to get a Ninjago area in. I've obviously got loads of the Bricklink Designer Program castles. I've also got the Bricklink Antique Shop that I want to get in, which is sat there at home that's not yet built. I got the Twilight Cullen House on Insiders Day, so I want to get that in somewhere. We've got Gringotts Bank that we got on Insiders Day. So at the moment we've got the Diagon Alley at the back there, but now we can incorporate Gringotts Bank into that as well and start expanding that Harry Potter area a little bit. We got Hogsmeade Station as well and the Hogwarts Express. So I don't yet have Hogsmeade itself other than the little mini Christmassy version, but there is an argument for keeping the train line running down this side so we can have Hogsmeade Station in with the Harry Potter stuff. And then of course we've got all the seaside to put in. I've already got the Italian Riviera, but that needs putting on a base plate. Likewise, some of these other buildings. I've got the Lego City Harbour, which I got on Insiders Day as well, which we can look to squeeze in. And then, of course, in the new year, the Winter Village will be coming out, and that then gives me space for some of the camping area, the wooded area stuff like the tree house, which is built at home, ready to come in, the A-frame cabin, which is built and ready to come in, and some of the other bits and bobs that we've got for that as well. So I am having fun. I am rejuvenated with the Lego City. It got to the point with the previous layout where I kind of felt I'd backed myself into a corner, and similar to what I did with the previous layout, got to the point where I couldn't really do anything without spending a load of money to do it. And I think this layout, most of what I've just described, I can do with what I've already got. I don't need to buy a load of grey bricks, a load of base plates to be able to continue expanding out in the direction that I want to expand out in. So I can simultaneously be doing the big stuff, getting a theme park in, which is going to make a huge difference and be really obvious and noticeable as that expands through the videos. I'd love to be able to add a fairground ride a week for the next month or so, because we've got so many ready to build now. That would be really cool. Whilst at the same time sorting out the roads, sorting out the train track stuff, getting some landscaping and getting the minifigures back in, getting the vehicles back in, and really get to the point by the time this is ready to come out, that end of the room is finished, and we can then fully focus on this end of the room for the first part of the year. Because remember, my goal for 2026 is to get to the point where this layout is finished. Every area, every bit has got Lego on it, and it's all finished Lego, properly designed with minifigures and scenes and stories. Because once I have finished this layout, my reward is going to be moving to a storage unit 3 times the size and making it even bigger. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun having a little bit of a fiddle with all of that today. Hopefully you're enjoying the progress as ever. Let me know your feedback down in the comments if you've got recommendations for how best to lay out the theme park. Bearing in mind we've got an area that's effectively 2 base plates by 9, I think, across that way. So we've got an 18 base plate area for the theme park. And I want to get all the big rides in, and I have got some small rides as well. Like I've got this roller coaster, I've got that destroyed roller coaster, I've got all of the Legoland sets. So there is other bits of theme park that can go in. I've got the Create a 3-in-1 Ferris wheel, which I think actually looks quite cool as part of the Winter Village rather than making that part of the theme park. When the theme park's already going to have the big Ferris wheel, we probably don't need 2 Ferris wheels. But yeah, lots to do, and it's all looking very, very cool. So hopefully you have enjoyed that video. If you have, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for loads more Lego content. And thank you very much for watching.